The only thing that I'm going to say is I'm going to read you the last paragraph of the letter that I sent to the candidates the other day, telling them what to expect tonight. Please don't spend your limited time talking about why the arts are important to the city. The crowd knows all the reasons. We are assuming, since you have taken the time to show up, that you do as well. The cultural sector has been seen extremely difficult days. The nonprofit arts provide 120,000 jobs, drive $8.1 billion per year into the economy, and get less than 1/4% of the city budget. Foundation giving is contracting, real estate prices are still rising, the barriers are almost insurmountable, many organizations have died. The ones who have left have cut staffs to the bone. Many directors go multiple pay periods at a time and repeatedly with no remuneration to keep their organizations afloat. Platitudes and business as usual won't fly with this audience. The sector needs help. What's wrong with this model? What can be done? What are you going to do? Thank you so much for participating in this forum. It means something to this community that you are coming to speak with us directly. Okay, so the first question for everybody is the same, and they had it beforehand, and that is pick one of the planks of the platform and address it. So again, you have 2.5 minutes. There'll be the warning at 30 seconds, and then the accordion. And we're going from left to right now forward.
Good evening, my name is Kevin Coenen. I want to welcome you to this fine venue.
Is it not working? Here, come here. Take this.
There we go.
All right, start.
Welcome you to this fine venue. It's a beautiful place to have an event like this. I think it's amazing. I think one of the biggest problems is accountability in government today. A lot of the funds are misappropriated for things that just don't take care of people's basic needs. We're backstopping big construction projects with taxpayer money, and I think that a lot of this money could go towards just basic needs for people. Supporting the arts is very important. Like Mr. Stringer said, that a lot of artists come into the community, and the theaters are leaving the community. There's just nowhere for these people to work. They are losing a very critical aspect of the city. The theater district is nothing without these little theaters. The hotels will not have the people come to them unless these theaters are there. They need somewhere to cut their teeth. They have to be able to start somewhere. The actors need a place to start and realize that they need a place where they can learn, where they can grow, where they can work with other people, where the actors can work with the directors, and then they could maybe move on to something bigger, and this is where they start. So one of the biggest problems is the misappropriation of funds, and how we're going to direct the funds to the basic needs of people, like the hospitals are closing, firehouses are closing. We're just not, the government is not listening to the people. The voting on the referendum for term limits was just disregarded. People want 5 days off for work. They're not even addressing any of this. So I think that the government should listen to the people a little bit more.
Okay, so you're picking one of the planks of the platform and addressing it.
Good. Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Jackson. I'm a current member of the City Council, and I chair the education team. And obviously, when looking at the platform, I say create access to empty and unused city property to be repurposed in temporary space and office space, performing space. And I will work my hardest to do that overall. I have not done that yet, but I've done many things in order to promote the arts. And let me explain what I mean. First of all, I have a daughter who is an independent artist. She's a graduate of Juilliard in 2008, and she's currently a dancer. and she is a struggling artist from a financial point of view, and she's a manager at Magnolia Bakery at Bloomingdale. But she dances with Janice Brennan's company. And also, I've raised children in the art. As far as my oldest daughter, who is now an MD, was in the TADA, the Theater and Dance Alliance, for many, many years of growing up. So I've been a promoter of arts overall, as far as unused space, and obviously a database for that to know, so that as a borough president, I will be promoting that to all of the business owners in order to use the spaces. So instead of staying unused and looking all, empty, to have artists performing there is more attractive to our communities, and that's why overall, when you look at this, what's his name, John? Kevin talked about funding. If you look at my record as an individual member of the city council, I've helped to fund the arts not only in my community but citywide. And so for me, I've been a fighter for the arts because I know artists in my own family, but also as a member of the budget negotiating team, many arts organizations come forward to us for funding. And if you ask them where have I been at the on time helping them to promote arts and funding for arts in this great city. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm Julie Menin, and I'm running for Manhattan Borough President. I want to thank LIT and Paul and David and Robin for putting this forum together. So I'm going to address a issue of the plank that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is battling Con Edison. Because basically, the idea that not-for-profit performance venues are paying an unfavorable rate is absolutely wrong. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my history with Con Edison representing Lower Manhattan. I sat on the board of the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation. I was one of their biggest critics. I exposed the fact that they were sitting on $200 million that no one even knew about. And I wrote an op-ed in the Daily News and in Crane saying we should use all $200 million to build the World Trade Center Performing Arts Center. As many of you know, Con Edison came in and threatened to raise every New Yorker's rates by $50. And I fought them back by writing a letter to the Public Service Commission demanding that they investigate Con Ed for illegally threatening to raise rates. And I won the $200 million victory for Lower Manhattan. We are building this Performing Arts Center. I'm a huge advocate for the arts. Not only did I unlock the $200 million, but also we unlocked the $45 million of LMDC funds, which Community Board 1 really made the case for to go to cultural institutions. If I am elected borough president, I will make the arts a major platform because it really is not only about promoting the arts, it's about the fact that the arts bring so much economic bottom line, and I'm not going to cite I know you all know the statistics, but I would point out, for example, that the city of Miami Beach with Art Basel brings in $600 million of economic revenue. In San Francisco and Yerba Buena, San Francisco decided to invest in a performing arts center precisely because they prioritize the arts. In addition, what the city of San Francisco does with land use is they allocate 1% of a project's hard costs to arts. This is a kind of innovation and prioritization of culture that we must do in New York, and that is what I would do as the next Manhattan Borough President.
Good evening. My name is Peter Vallone. I'd actually like to hear more about this 5-day off idea. That was kind of interesting. But I'm from Queens. I'm known as somebody with a lot of opinions from Queens, and I'm chairman of the Public Safety Committee. And that's how people know me, and there are worse reputations to have. But what people don't know about me is that I'm an environmentalist, I'm an animal rights activist, I ride my Harley, and I am an artist. That's why I'm here tonight. I'm a professional musician. I play 4 instruments, work my way through college, law school, work until 4 o'clock in the morning, playing the Dublin pub on Long Island, playing, in the Village, a couple places. It closed down. What was the name of it? This is 20 years ago. Yeah, playing there. Mental block. Playing there, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to struggle and to play till 4 in the morning and then go to school or a job at 8 in the morning the next day. I am an artist. I've spent my whole life doing this. I still play out occasionally. I fund a lot of arts programs. Played out in Astoria Park with this great group, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company. Most of you don't look old enough to remember them, but they had some #1 hits in the 70s. I didn't play with them in the 70s. I played with them this summer. They had Simple Simon Says was their big song. But the art, I'm here. I mean, I looked at your platform, and I was just told now to pick a platform that I wanted to support. I support the whole thing. There's nothing on here that I don't support. So I don't want to spend my time telling you why the arts are important to the city, because you know that. I just want to know the arts are important to me. That's why I'm here from Queens. As soon as I got this invitation, I said I wanted to come. I have, as I said, and I put my money where my mouth is. I mean, I helped fund APAC, the Astoria Performing Arts Center, which is now, thank you. You know about it. Broadway level shows that they put out there in Astoria. One of the things they don't have is performance-based. That's something that's very important. But one of the things I'm getting done now is I'm turning the diving pool in Astoria Park into an amphitheater, so our artists will have a place to play. I'm going to talk for another 20 seconds because I want to hear that wah thing. So I'm not shut up until I hear you. Never had that happen to me, so I'm just going to stall for that stock puppets. But Astoria Performing Arts Center, I fund the fact that they get to IS-10 and they perform shows that the kids write, and they get up and the kids sit in electric chairs. It's a great program, my God. Thank you.
So one thing we're also going to do is a couple of lightning round questions. So there are how many questions? If you agree with it, you raise your hand. How many of you are familiar with the 1% for Culture campaign? How many of you are willing to endorse it tonight? How many of you are willing to commit, if you're elected, at least 1/4 time of a staff person to the arts?
And would you support affordable housing projects with an artist preference set aside?
Anyone? Or?
That's the same order.
The answer is yes. I've been supportive of low affordable housing in my entire tenure as a member of City Council, and more specifically for artists, I will be supportive of that continuously. As I said, my daughter's an artist who she's struggling now to survive.
Of course, I would be supportive of that. Also, I think taxes need to be lowered on the building owners so they can at least offer the people who live in the buildings less of a rent burden. I mean, taxes are just too high and people are struggling. They're getting hit on the transit, in the subways. Costs are going up all over, and I think housing is very important because without the housing in Manhattan, close to the places where people go to the theater, it's just going to be a dying breed. That they're going to be going to the outer boroughs and where they don't have the accommodations to hold people. There's not big hotels where people the tourists can come in and they're able to see that these theaters are the driving force of Times Square, one of the most amazing places in the city. And as far as housing goes, the rents are out of control. They're just too high for people to pay. And the artists are getting run out of the city. It's unfair.
Okay, I'm happy to go next. Well, first of all, yes, absolutely, I would support that. And let me answer your question directly about affordable housing. We have an affordable housing and middle-income housing crisis in this city. And one of the reasons why I'm running for borough president is to address that. So, for example, in cities like Minneapolis and Seattle, they are building affordable housing for artists. We need to be doing that here in New York. So, in my opinion, one of the best ways to do this is we have to reform our land use review process. Absolutely. When large-scale development is being proposed all throughout the city, I'm just going to talk about Manhattan, so whether you're talking about the Columbia University expansion or NYU expansion or Chelsea Market expansion, we have to always make sure that we're building enough affordable housing in each and every project that moves forward in this borough. I believe that we need to reform our land use review process by actually having clear standards for affordable housing to make sure we're building the right number. And by the way, I feel the same way about school seats, about open space, about transit improvement. I mentioned the city of San Francisco before. When there is large-scale development in that city, they build a certain number of affordable housing units and school seats and all the critical things that our city needs to move forward. We are not doing that here in New York. If I were Manhattan Borough President, affordable housing would be obviously a top priority, and we need to make sure it's there for artists. My mom is an artist. My mom is an immigrant. She came to this country having survived the Holocaust, and she was able to come here precisely because it was affordable housing for her. And right now, we can't say that is the case. So it has to be a top priority, and it has to be a top priority for artists.
I think I neglected to say I'm running for Queens Borough President, not against, not against these two. I just want to point that out. Anybody from Queens here? Ah, good. Didn't pay the toll for nothing. But I agree with my colleagues, and it's been an honor to work with Robert Jackson for so long at City Hall. He's been a great chair of the Education Committee. We've worked together on so many issues. And I probably built more senior housing in Astoria than perhaps anyone. If you come over the Triborough Bridge and you look to the right, there's giant Doris towers there. That's all senior housing. A lot of artists live there. A lot of senior artists. People don't realize that. So yes, we need to do what we can for affordable housing. We need to provide tax credits, I believe, for artists. We need the artists here, or they can't perform. They shouldn't be traveling from Connecticut or anything like that to put on a play. It's hard enough to be a struggling artist without having to travel. But one of the things we need, in addition to housing, is before we put the housing, we need the infrastructure. We need the schools, we need the hospitals, we need the parks, we need the performance space. Artists shouldn't be running around to church basements to try to find a space to perform. So there's a lot that comes with the affordable housing that we also have to do. I said I support every one of these. I have to have a caveat. On the last one, I talked about renaming things. I will not rename any of our bridges after anyone. Don't ask me.
Well, I apologize. I thought this was a lightning round. That's why I came, and I was listening to Kevin. I was saying, "Damn, this is a lightning round." So, no, but if you just look at my history as an advocate, as a member of the city council, I've fought for affordable housing my entire tenure of 12 years in the city council, and in fact, the record speaks for itself. All you have to do is speak to the head of Broadway Housing, to HCCI, the Harlem Congregation of Community Improvement. I allocated $3 million to the Emma Wilson Boys and Girls Club being built on 145th Street between Amsterdam and Broadway. It's an old school, and that $3 million is to reduce the cost of housing to make it affordable for the people that live there. Affordable housing clearly in this city is needed, and in fact, on a continuous basis in communicating with everyone, whether it's real estate developers or community-based organizations, I said Manhattan Island is big enough and must be inclusive of all. And to be inclusive, you have to have affordable housing for the average of families that live here and the artists. So as a borough president of Manhattan, through the land use process, you can communicate and coax and communicate loud and clear that affordable housing is extremely important in Manhattan, and especially for artists. Everyone knows how important the arts are. There's 52 million tourists that come to New York City every single year, and they come here for the theaters, the arts, and shows. So we must make it affordable for the artists that live here. Thank you.
So we're doing well. We're keeping on time. We have a 1-minute wrap-up from each candidate.
Okay, I would just like to say that I've spent 20 years serving the people of city of New York, responding with the fire department. I feel that that's what I'm going to bring to the office is the response that's needed. I think if you call City Hall now, you're not going to get much. You're pretty much just going to probably hit a click on the other end of the phone. A lot of funds. The city has major funds. They back construction projects that are supposed to be paid from private organizations and corporations. They're backed up by the city. If they don't get the money, the city finds the money for that. Why can't they find the money for the theaters? Tell me. Why is that? I saw all this money go through the World Trade Center, billions of dollars. Nothing was going on down there for about 11 years. But still, you know, the funds went through and nothing ever was done down there. Why is it that they can't provide funding for the theaters? These directors and theater owners need a hand. They need the space. The nonprofits need to be funded so people can, you know, go to work and have an enjoyable time working with fellow people that they like to be with. And sometimes it might be a career, other times it might be just something that they like to do. It's something that, it's like a hobby for some people, other people it's a career. It's just a way to cut your teeth and live your life in the beautiful country that this is. I would like you to give me a chance, and I will respond much better than what's happening now, because what is happening now is a joke. If you really look at what's going on in government, you see millions of dollars going through, like Christine Quinn, she didn't even know where half the money was going. Like, what is this? We need some responsibility and some accountability.
Well, first, let me thank the League of Independent Theaters for inviting me to be a part of this panel discussion. In my 1-minute wrap-up, let me just communicate to you loud and clear that as a member of the City Council for 12 years, I've been a fighter for the people of New York City, and more specifically, mainly for the people of my district in Northern Manhattan, the middle class, the working class. That's where I come from, that's where I was born from, and I will continue to fight on behalf of the people of New York City. I've said loud and clear that the most important issues that impact New York City is the safety of our city. And obviously, the safety is so important, and education is important. That's why I fought this system and won billions of dollars for our children. And when you talk about arts in schools, I've been a fighter for that, put forward resolutions and bills in the City Council to promote artists in schools. And I'm on the budget negotiating team, and the Theaters of Colors and others have come to us for funding, and I will continue to fight to ensure that artists are represented not only as far as the City Council. You should run for the City Council. You should be on the community boards so that you can advocate for yourselves. That's the most important thing. Stand up and fight for yourselves like you're doing now, knowing that when I become the next borough president, you will have a partner that will stand up and fight the system on your behalf. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here tonight, and I want to thank LIT for having this forum. I did not come up through the political process. I never intended to run for elected office. By way of background, I owned a small business in Lower Manhattan called Vine Restaurant. It was devastated on 9/11. My home was devastated and we were evacuated. I started a not-for-profit organization, Wall Street Rising. We did some of the earliest programs to help Lower Manhattan get back on its feet, including art downtown and music downtown. I've chaired Community Board 1 for the last 7 years. We took on, in addition to the Con Ed fight that I mentioned, standing up for the Islamic Cultural Center and Mosque, standing up for Occupy Wall Street, and a host of progressive issues. It is that kind of strong leadership that we need in our borough in 2013, and that is why I'm running to be the next Manhattan Borough President. Thank you.
It was an honor to spend some time with you this evening. This is what we chose to do, but you guys could be home watching American Idol or something like that on TV. It's a crappy night, but you're out here listening to candidates, and this is important. This is important to stay united as a community. It's important to hear what the candidates have to say. I mean, community involvement is what it's about. We need to get candidates in there who appreciate the arts, and it's great that we have candidates here that support the arts. They all do, and you'll hear from more candidates also, and they'll say they support the arts, and most will. I will be supporting the arts. I will be supporting the arts because it's in here, because I am an artist, and because I had to make a decision whether to go to law school or actually tour with the band, and I hope I made the right decision. I could probably maybe I'd be opening for Aerosmith if I went the other way, but I'd probably just be the old guy in the bar band, so I'm sure I made the right decision. But now, because I made that decision, I'll be able to work with you, hopefully as Queensborough president, to ensure that the arts are funded, to ensure that artists have a place to live, to ensure they have artists have places to perform, and to ensure that arts keeps its rightful place here in New York City. So I really want to thank you for being out here. God bless.